Hey y'all, and welcome to Belittle Brawl. My name is Brian, and Markwayne Mullin delivers a harsh reality check to Ruben Gallego because, well, he absolutely needs it. Let's dive in.
We know that Epstein was at Trump's wedding. We know that Epstein once called Trump his closest friend for 10 years. And we've seen that Trump wrote Epstein a birthday card and said, and I quote, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." And the real kicker, we learned yesterday that Trump is in the Epstein files, and he knows it. The truth is coming out, and the cover-up is crumbling. So I'm here again, and my request is very simple. The Senate should go on record supporting the release of the Epstein files. Any effort to block their release is simply a continued cover-up of our nation's elites. While I stand here on the Senate floor demanding answers, House Republicans have ran for the exit, ended their term early, skipping town early to avoid taking up any more discussion about Epstein and the files. They didn't just punt accountability, they literally fled Washington, D.C. While everyday Americans are struggling to afford their groceries and their health care, we have a president in the White House focused on protecting the most powerful men and women who preyed on children. This is who Donald Trump really is. He campaigns as a man of the people. When it comes down to it, he is a servant of the powerful and the elite. He built a movement claiming to fight those same elites, and now he is protecting them every way possible.
I reserve the right to object.
Senator from Oklahoma is recognized.
It's interesting that my colleague wants to continue talking about the elites, but the elites was the ones that actually covered up the last 4 years of the Biden administration. I mean, think about what happened during the Biden administration. They covered up, one, for his cognitive behavior. Two, they covered up the Hunter Biden laptop. Three, they covered up the Russian gate and continue to cover up the Russian gate. And four, they covered up the fact that an auto bin signed every one of his papers except one. Where was the cover-up? Where'd the elites come from? Well, it's because of the pressure from the Biden administration that actually did put it on the elite, on all the social media outlets. It's interesting, when I started talking to social media's founders after President Trump was elected, they said, we feel like we can actually do our job again. Why? Because the DOJ wasn't threatening to sue them. The Biden administration wasn't threatening to blackmail them. But yet my colleague from Arizona is saying that we're covering up for the elites. Let's be honest. We know these files have been out there forever. I don't remember a single time the Biden administration called on these things to be released. And I definitely don't remember my colleague from Arizona calling on these files to be released. As I've said before, this is nothing more than political theater. Everybody sees it. The American people sees it. And what else can President Trump and AG Bondi do but call on the judges to release the information? We're simply going back and forth here saying the same thing. The difference between my resolution and my colleagues from Arizona's resolution is mine isn't blurring the boundaries between separation of power. Mine is simply calling upon the judges to release the information. What my colleague's resolution does is truly trying to tell the FBI and the DOJ how they can proceed in doing their job and how they can actually present the information. Basically saying that we want all that information to go through Congress. Well, I'm sure Congress has never once played politics with any information. I'm sure that this investigation will be handled much like other investigations into this administration that the Democrats have done over the last, 8 years. I'm sure this would be handled just like any other thing that they've tried to go after, like the baseless impeachments or the baseless special counsels or the unbelievable amount of charges they've tried to file against the president. I'm sure this would be handled the exact same way. What we're simply wanting to do here is give them cover. So if my colleague from Arizona actually wants transparency, then he would drop his objection to my resolution and just simply have mine go through, and we can move forward with the transparency that maybe both of us actually want.
When Markwayne Mullin enters the ring, you better watch out. Seriously, this dude is MMA trained, and he is trained to break you mentally and physically. This dude understands how this game is played, and his resolution compared to Ruben Gallego's resolution actually says, hey, let's just do X, where Ruben Gallego wants X, Y, Z, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. It wants all these little extra things in there, and to make matters worse, when the House tried similar things and similar shenanigans, the Democrats were trying to actually take power from the Speaker in order to go forward with day-to-day business. So, on its face, I do not believe the Democrat Party when they are talking about, yes, release the files. I don't believe them. The American people don't believe them. The only reason they're talking about it is because now they have a way to look into the mirror and say, hey, we can use this against Trump. Maybe looking into the mirror is the wrong phrase here, but basically this is political theater. And Markwayne Mullin points that out here, but there's more political theater that's going on than we actually understand. What I'm trying to get at is the American people don't look at the Democrat Party and think that they're the party that's going to bring liberation, that's going to break this ridiculous cycle. They don't even look at the Republican Party and think that anymore. They look at the entire MAGA movement, which has had this weird political cross-section between ranging all the way down into the anarchic left to the middle-of-the-road moderates, all the way up to evangelical conservatives. Whereas the Democrat Party really just has their authoritarian centers and their crazy Marxist left. Hey, y'all. Experts say they rig the markets, print the money, and manipulate the system. But here's the truth. They can't print gold. While the dollar weakens, physical gold and silver stay real, tangible, uncontrolled. When banks go digital and emergencies lock you out of your own funds, gold and silver won't need an internet connection or government permission. Their value is outside the system, a time-tested insurance policy against tyranny, inflation, and economic resets. So don't wait until the trap is sprung. Own what the elites hoard behind closed doors. Physical gold and silver off the grid, because when the system fails, real money talks. And to help you learn more about owning physical gold and silver, we have partnered with the great company Goldco, which supports this channel, which we deeply appreciate. So check out politibralgold.com for more info, and see if you might even qualify for free silver. That's politibralgold.com. Seriously, it's literally a war between the Bernie Bros, the social justice movement, and the corporatists. Those are the three pillars of the Democrat Party, and no one likes that. The average American person does not trust that system because that's the very thing that has been screwing them over time and time and time again. They don't look at the Democrat Party and say, thank you for bringing up these important things about the Ramstein files. No, they don't look at the Democrats and say, thank you for talking about this issue. The American people are asking, why haven't you been talking about this? Why haven't they been interested in this whole thing? Are they even more complicit? The only people who are talking about it are in the podcast sphere. The only people that are talking about it is in right-wing media. And funny I should bring up right-wing media, because Donald Trump has a lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal that reported on this very weird, very un-Trumpian-like letter that he apparently wrote to good old Jeffrey. And so this is what stood out to me more than anything else. The figure, that is the two $10 billion lawsuits, would far exceed the largest defamation judgments and settlements in recent history, including a $1.3 billion judgment against conspiracy theorist Alex Jones and Fox News settlements with Dominion voting systems for $787.5 million. Funny that those should get brought up. Those are both right-wingers. Fox News is right-wing. Alex Jones is definitely right-wing. And although this was the greatest thing that could have happened to journalism, Fox fired Tucker Carlson in order to cover some of the costs. and was probably part of the backroom deal, because remember, in settlements like these, there's deals behind the deals that force the deals. And so it's funny to me that the two most important defamation lawsuits in recent memory that leave out some other big ones, but but these two are talked about completely in the right-wing sphere, when they have refused to talk about the ones where defamation lawsuits have come out against major left-wing groups like CNN. For instance, remember the kid that was lied about when a Native American started beating a drum and yelling in his face in front of the Lincoln Memorial? I think his name was Nate Sandman. He won millions of dollars in his defamation. So it's funny that those two get brought up in the same breath. So ultimately, it sounds like something completely different is going on. The Democrat Party is trying to latch itself on and try to rebrand from woke, going over into sort of the angry leftists. They've gone from the woke power structure leftists to, hey, let's just be angry at the current thing. They haven't really learned their lesson, and it's going to be a long way back for them to really regain any actual institutional power, at least in our federal government. They still have our schools, Hollywood, most of our cultural centers, but that's not what I'm talking about. The Democrat Party has lost this narrative, and they're not going to gain it back. Remember, folks, the average person does not believe the Democrat Party when they're talking about these files and the release of this information. They don't believe that they care, because they were complicit in the system. That's why the American people voted for Trump the first time. That's why we voted for him the second time. Yeah, this is a bit of a problem. The whole file story is a bit of a problem, but no one in their right minds is going to believe the Democrat Party is going to help get anyone get close to the ideals of truth and justice. That's the reality. And the Democrats need to wise up before they continue to put themselves in even more boiling water. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.